Morning, everyone. Meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Again, this is our brand new space that we're going to continue to bring you some pretty awesome content on. Again, weather updates, news updates, all sorts of things like that. Today, again, we're talking weather as we have another winter storm that's taking aim at the state, and we're going to talk about what we could see here as we head over the next several days. Again, we already dealt with one snow system last week that brought Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska quite a bit of snow. This system likely going to be impacting more of the northern parts of the state than the southern parts of the state, but something we're going to keep a close eye on here as we head over the next couple days. Certainly we'll see a return to colder and breezy conditions through the middle part of the work week before we warm things back up again, and then potentially another system heads our way next week as well, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull up our weather graphics here. Give me a second. Oop, wait, no, we want that one there. We want that one there. There we go. Okay. So first, just taking a look at your winter weather alerts. There are quite a lot of them. This is the zoomed out regional view, and again, much of the northern plains and then out towards the Rockies under some sort of winter weather headline. In pink, we have winter storm warnings that cover almost the entire state of South Dakota, which is pretty impressive. The entire state of South Dakota with blizzard warnings for eastern South Dakota into parts of Minnesota. We also have, again, winter weather headlines, winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, winter weather advisories covering the entire state of Wyoming. We also have winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories covering the entire states of Montana as well as Wisconsin. So again, a lot out there. A lot of folks going to be seeing a lot of snow as we head over the next 24 to 48 hours. And we'll kind of break down what we're expecting to see in Nebraska as well as in Lincoln as we head over that time frame as well. So if we zoom into the state of Nebraska, again, you can see we have the winter storm warnings shaded in pink across the northern tier of the state, then out into the Nebraska Panhandle. These go into effect later this evening. So Tuesday evening in the west, late tonight for northeastern Nebraska through midday on Thursday. Winter weather advisory shaded in purple, stretching from northeastern Nebraska back into parts of central Nebraska and then into southwestern Nebraska, including areas like North Platte and Imperial. And again, those basically run through the same times. We're looking at these beginning later this evening, late tonight, lasting through Thursday morning, through about midday Thursday. Again, a pair of systems, one kind of moving in from the north and west, one kind of moving in from the south and west, will phase and kind of create one big system that's going to bring in colder temperatures, windy conditions, as well as the potential for quite a bit of snow as well. So if we look at the current satellite and radar picture, again, things right now fairly quiet, though we do see some scattered rain and snow showers across far northern Nebraska into South Dakota. That's just kind of the beginning of this system. We're looking at sunny skies and pretty pleasant conditions for much of the southern parts of the state. But again, that will be changing as we head through the day today into the day tomorrow. So we'll run you through SkyCast and kind of try and time this thing out. The one thing you'll notice, again, we're starting this at 5 o'clock this evening. And again, kind of matching what we're seeing out there now. So again, I think over the next several hours, we won't see much change. I think we're going to see a good amount of sunshine for southern Nebraska over the next few hours, clouds with some scattered showers across the northern third or so of the state. But as we head tonight towards late Tuesday night, we're going to begin to see the snow kind of first spread across areas to our north into South Dakota, but we'll start to see some of those scattered snow showers in northern and western sections of the state. The winds turning more to the south, more to the east will be breezy tonight, and again, we're going to be looking for breezy to windy conditions tonight into the day on your Wednesday across much of the state. So then overnight tonight into early Wednesday morning, we're going to see snow across parts of the Panhandle into Cherry County and north central Nebraska up towards Ainsworth, up towards O'Neill, and then into far northeastern parts of the state. By early tomorrow morning, you'll notice some pinks showing up in Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska. We're going to see the potential, I think, from about Tacoma down towards Nebraska City, Falls City, over to Hebron, up towards York and Columbus, kind of that little square or so, maybe up to a tenth of an inch of ice with this system as it moves on through. Again, most of the snow going to remain to our north as we head through the day on Wednesday, but through the day on Wednesday, don't be surprised if we see a mixed bag of precipitation in the capital city. Could see some light rain, could see some light freezing rain. Again, some of that wintry mix through the day. By the noon hour, most of the northern third of the state dealing with areas of snow. And again, the snow could be moderate to heavy at times. Combined with the strong winds, we could be looking at blizzard or near blizzard conditions across the northern tier of the state through the day on your Wednesday. So again, some very tough travel conditions going to be possible in these areas. Again, in Lincoln and the southern and southeastern corner of the state, again, it's going to be breezy. It's going to be colder. And again, with that potential for a wintry mix, we could see some slick conditions out there on the road. So again, any travel, it's going to be impacted, but not nearly as much as the northern tier of the state. So we can continue into Wednesday afternoon. Snow continues across the northern tier of the state. We'll continue to see that chance for a little bit of a wintry mix in Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska. Eventually, as we head towards Wednesday night, that's when we'll kind of start to see at least a small chance for Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska to maybe pick up at least a little bit of snow. Again, most of this snow is going to be across the northern tier of the state through the day tomorrow. And then snow will begin to end as we head late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning as the system finally begins to lift to the north and east out of the area. But on the backside of that low pressure system, we're still going to see very breezy to windy conditions as we head into especially Thursday morning with those winds out of the north and northwest. So any snow that's still on the ground could still be blowing around, and that could still cause some travel concerns, especially again for the northern half of the state, even into Thursday morning. I think by Thursday afternoon, again, we're dry, still a little bit breezy, but again, conditions should be at least improving as we head into Thursday afternoon. So again, this is going to be starting tonight for the northern parts of the state, lasting through most of the day on Wednesday, and then ending from west to east and from south to north as we head late Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. We look at the potential snowfall amounts. Again, models are in fairly good agreement. So I'm going to run you through the 4 models and then show you our snowfall forecast. Again, this is the European model. The main things to point out, one is south central, southeastern Nebraska. We're maybe looking at a trace to an inch of snowfall being possible, but you'll notice the dark blues, the purples, the pinks, the areas of potentially moderate to heavy snow staying to our north across parts of northern Nebraska into South Dakota, southern Minnesota as well. So that's the European model. You'll notice the American model, very similar in that regards. Again, maybe has and maybe some of the heavier snow pushed a little farther north in parts of northeastern Nebraska. But again, south central, southeastern Nebraska, we're looking at mainly wintry mix with a trace to an inch of snow possible, those heavy snowfall amounts across the panhandle and the northern tier of the state. The NAM model, again, pushes it even a little further north, really doesn't have much of anything for Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska, heavy snow to our north. And our in-house graph model, again, basically the same as the American and the European models, with that trace to an inch in Lincoln and southeastern, south central parts of the state, those areas of heavy snow across the far northern tier of the state and into South Dakota. So again, there is some pretty decent model agreement in this. That's what we'd like to see as the event is about to start here in the next 12 or so hours. So that is some good news. We'd rather have it this way than still have models disagreeing. So this is what we're going with for the snowfall forecast out of the 1011 Now Weather Center. Again, Lincoln, a trace to an inch. That is for Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska into south central parts of the state. So Lincoln, Beatrice, Hebron, Fairbury. Again, we're not looking at much of any snow out of this system. Again, just off to our north, though, again, the Omaha Metro, Columbus, Grand Island, Hastings, McCook, maybe an inch to 3 inches, not out of the question. A band of 3 to 6 inches, even further north than that. So north of Columbus, North Platte, Broken Bow, Imperial could see 3 to 6 inches of snow. And then the big snow, 6+ inches of snow across really the northern tier of the state, the Panhandle, plus the Sandhills, and then into northeastern Nebraska. We're talking way up into northeastern Nebraska along the South Dakota border. And then again, the purples, which we don't see much of here on our map, covered up by our banner, but that's 1 foot to 1.5 feet. And I even included on here a pink color, which again you can't really see. This is up here in parts of Minnesota and into Wisconsin. They're looking at potentially 18 to maybe 24 inches of snow with this system. So again, while we could see some heavy snows here in Nebraska, most of this, the really big epic snows with this system is going to stay across South Dakota into Minnesota and Wisconsin. Again, even for Minnesota standards, this could be a pretty epic snowstorm for them. Again, Minneapolis, Rochester, through southern Minnesota into western Wisconsin, 18 to 24 inches of snow going to be possible with this system. So again, pretty big snows for some. Again, for Nebraska, again, it's that northern tier of the state into the parts of the Panhandle. We're looking at 6 to 12 inches of snow. Again, Valentine has already had. I'll pull up the numbers here. Valentine's already had 50 some inches of snow this season. Yeah, let's see. So Valentine has already had 52.7 inches of snow this snowfall season. They could add another 6 to 12 inches of snow. And the 52.7 they've already had this season is good for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is tied for the 17th snowiest winter on record. Again, if you look at, again, this is Valentine's snowfall numbers. They had 22.3 inches of snow in December, 28.3 inches of snow in January. They've been spared so far this month of February. They've only had a trace of snow so far this month, but we could add, continue to add to some pretty big numbers that parts of northern and western Nebraska have already seen so far this year. In Lincoln, again, I said it already, but a trace to an inch. This is kind of look at some of the main weather models as far as actual numbers that they're spitting out over the next 48 hours. And we're looking at anywhere from just a tenth to an inch to just over an inch. So again, we feel pretty confident in that trace to 1 inch for the Lincoln area over the next 48 hours. What we will be feeling more, our impacts are going to be wind and cold. As again, it's been pretty mild over the last several days. If I pull up, let's see, I can pull it up here in Lincoln. Give it a second, it's loading up. Our high temperatures in February, and these numbers here on the right aren't updated quite yet, but again, we started to see snow Wednesday night into Thursday of last week. Thursday was the coldest day, 27 for a high with 8.8 inches of snow. Since then, things have been getting better, 10 degrees better on Friday, 10 degrees better on Saturday, and upper 40s, low 50s the last couple days. Again, a lot of our snow's already melted. So, again, generally speaking, it's been pretty mild for us in terms of our high temperatures so far this month. We've been a little up and down, but we're about to kind of head back down a little bit, at least for a couple days here in Lincoln. So, again, we'll take a look at the future wind gusts. Again, this is starting late tonight. Today could be a little bit breezy at times, but nothing that we haven't dealt with before. I think the strongest winds likely head our way as we head tonight and then into the day on your Wednesday as that first kind of system begins to push on through the area. So I think by early Wednesday morning, we're looking at winds gusting across the state, for most of the state anyway, between about 30 and 40 miles an hour. And we're already, at this time, we're already likely seeing snow across parts of northern Nebraska. Again, potentially seeing that wintry mix into southeastern Nebraska. Now we're going to add the wind on top of that. Likely seeing our high temperatures occur early in the day tomorrow. If not shortly after midnight, likely seeing falling temperatures. So again, winds are going to play a big factor in the wind chills over the next 24 to 48 hours. So the wind stays pretty blustery through the day on Wednesday. I think it does die down a little bit as we head towards Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. But then Wednesday night into Thursday, that wind is going to crank back up again as that low pressure system slides through the area. So Thursday morning, we're looking at those winds gusting again for a lot of the state, 25 to 35 up to 45 miles an hour. Could even see a brief period of winds gusting to near 50 miles an hour in northeastern Nebraska early Thursday morning as that low slides through. I think winds do die down as we head into Thursday afternoon. By Thursday night, they should be a little bit more manageable for us. As far as temperatures are concerned, again, today looks really, really nice. Low 40s to low 50s from north to south. Could see in far southern Nebraska some temperatures approaching 60 degrees. So again, we're going to continue to melt any snow that we have on the ground, but we are going to start to add more snow on the ground for the northern parts of the state. Lows tonight, we're talking, again, you can see the cold air beginning to creep in the west. Single digits for areas like Ainsworth, Thedford, the Panhandle, Valentine. As you head further to the south and east, though, it's a little bit better, upper teens to upper 20s, and even low of around 40 degrees tonight in Fall City. But again, these high temperatures that we see tomorrow likely occur early in the day, especially for central and in eastern Nebraska. Falling temperatures through the rest of the day, so it's going to feel a lot colder than this. Low temperatures Thursday morning will be bitterly cold. We're talking 10 to 20 degrees below zero for parts of the Sandhills into the Panhandle, single digits from the rest of 10-11 country. Thursday afternoon, high temperatures remain bitterly cold. And again, with the breezy to windy conditions, it will still feel even colder than this. Again, some areas may not get above zero Thursday afternoon for a high, especially those areas that see a good amount of snow through the day on Wednesday. Friday morning lows staying bitterly cold, single digits, both above and below zero for a lot of the state, but as cold as, again, 10 to 20 degrees below zero for parts of north central Nebraska. Things begin to get a little bit better as we head into Friday afternoon. Again, the wind shouldn't be as bad, but we are going to be looking at high temperatures only making it into the teens and 20s, so well below average Friday afternoon. The weekend, though, again, kind of, we've won the weekend so far this month in February, and it does look like we should do it again this weekend. Low temperatures will be cold to start Saturday, but by Saturday afternoon, we're looking at highs reaching the mid to upper 40s for southern Nebraska, colder in the north where they should see fresh snow on the ground. Sunday morning, we're looking at mid-teens to mid-20s. Sunday afternoon, again, looks pretty comfortable for late February, mid to upper 40s to even low 50s for southern Nebraska. A little bit colder in the north. So that's actual air temperatures. I thought I'd run you through wind chills here as well. I'm going to go back here and reset this. So this is going to start. So this starts Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Again, it's not terrible, but the cold air is rushing in, likely seeing falling temperatures through the day. So again, it's not going to get much better. 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, much of northern and western Nebraska below zero wind chills, teens and 20s for central and eastern Nebraska. By Wednesday night, again, it continues to get pretty cold. Thursday morning will be one of the coldest we have. Wind chills for parts of north central, northwestern, southwestern Nebraska between about 20 to 40 degrees below zero, dropping between about 5 below and 5 above for Lincoln and far eastern Nebraska, between about 5 below and 15 to 20 degrees below zero for central sections of the state. Thursday afternoon staying well below zero for a good chunk of northern Nebraska, single digits in Lincoln, below zero in Grand Island, as well as Kearney right around zero in Hastings. Thursday night, again, most of the state below zero. We'll likely see wind chill advisories for really probably a good chunk of the state later this week to cover these, again, bitterly cold wind chills as we head into Friday morning. Again, below zero across the state. Things do start to get better as the wind dies down and temperatures finally warm up as we head into Friday afternoon. So a lot going on here over the next couple days. This is a look at the extended forecast in Lincoln. Again, you can see today a little bit breezy, but low 50s for temperature. Should be overall another fairly nice day. Wednesday, we're going to go that 50% chance for that wintry mix. Again, we're not looking at a lot of snow here in the capital city, trace to an inch, maybe up to a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation possible. Or in terms of total liquid precipitation, we could see maybe a tenth to 2/10 of an inch of precipitation in Lincoln. So this isn't going to be a big wet system for us, but it will be cold and it will be windy. Temperatures bottoming out Friday morning, a low of around 2 in Lincoln, before we do rebound mid-20s Friday afternoon to the mid to upper 40s for the weekend. And then we'll keep an eye on a system next week that's going to be heading our way. Again, a long ways off. It's going to be plenty of time for things to change between now and then. But models yesterday, one had some significant snow, one kept it all rain. Models today keep it all rain early next week. So again, we'll have some we have some time between now and then for models to kind of figure things out and kind of figure out what kind of precipitation we could be seeing early next week. But again, our active weather pattern looks to continue as we have that system again starting tonight into the day tomorrow, another one early next week, and it looks like even potentially another one could impact the region late next week as well. So again, there's a lot to keep an eye on as the weather is finally turning a little bit more active here as we finish February and begin to start March as well. So meteorologist Brad Anderson will have the latest details coming up here in about an hour on 1011 now at noon. Meteorologist Brandon Rector will have more details at 4, and then Chief Meteorologist Ken Shimmick will be in tonight for the 5, 6, and 10 o'clock shows as well. So again, we'll keep you updated both on air and online as the system begins to move on through. But the main headlines with this, I'll pull it back up again real quick so everyone can see it, is this system mainly is going to be impacting the northern parts of the state, and that's where we have all the advisories that are currently in place. Again, the winter storm warnings, the winter weather advisories. Right now, nothing for Lincoln and southeastern Nebraska. I honestly don't anticipate seeing anything for Lincoln or southeastern Nebraska in terms of any winter weather headlines. But again, if anything does change, again, we'll keep you updated on air, online. Again, I would urge everyone, if you haven't done it already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, that's where we're going to see a lot of this awesome new content coming out of this 1011 streaming studio. Again, later today, I'm actually going to be talking to Madison Pitch on here. She has a pretty awesome story about Cosmic High Brewing and some giving back to the community that they're doing. So we'll talk to her on here, kind of previewing that story that'll come up tonight at 5, 6, and 10. But again, subscribe to us on that YouTube channel. Again, it's youtube.com/@1011_news. And again, make sure you turn on those notifications as well so you get notified every time we go live, which again, we try and do several times a day. Weather updates, news updates. Eventually we'll get some sports mixed in there as well. So I appreciate everyone tuning in and watching. For meteorologist Bill Rentschler, everyone have a nice day, and we'll talk to you again later.